Shalom to the Yasha Nation, both bloodborn and sojourner amongst us. First things first, you're probably wondering, why do I have a mask on right now? Is what I actually wanted to do with the first video, but I just did the first video spur of the moment. Decided that my image, my visage, is of the least importance of anything that's gonna be on this channel. So, and I don't want people are weird. They connect things with an image and want to just throw everything else to the side if they don't like that image. So, and yes, I was just watching Lex Will's latest video where I believe he was suggesting to wrap the news to stay off camera. Well, I'm going to be on camera, but like I said, my image of the least importance, but I will still bring out that comparison picture of me and the guy I was talking about, was it Hootie Wigman from Papua New Guinea, just to show you just how close as twins we look. And that'll probably be the only time you will ever see my image again, unless you see me in person. So enough of that bullshit, back to the books. I'm going to go through all these books on the couch. I was going to go through the ones in the boxes on the floor beside me too, but man, I'm fucking tired. Work, class, I'm tired. Need my rest. Let's see how many of these, 40, 50, give or take, maybe a little more books we can get through. Actually, first let's look at this magazine. Don't know if y'all familiar with Ancient American Archaeology of the Americas before Columbus. And for those who aren't familiar with it, it is actually published by Mormons, by the LDS church. And they give up a lot of goods in these magazines. They're a little pricier than the average magazine, $7.95 an issue. See if anything stands out on this one. Okay, I'll just let y'all see for yourselves the different topics included in there. And as I'm showing y'all this, I just realized on the back of this, I just missed their 14th annual conference on Ancient America, and it says open to the public welcome. Yeah, they just fucking had it too. October, Friday the 5th through Sunday the 7th of this year. How the hell I missed that before, I don't know. And let me see, the weekdays was $85.50 and $111.66. So I guess that's something to keep in mind for next year. Dang. Alright. Like I said, I'm not going into details with the books. I'm just going through as fast as I can. It's all the books that I do have in my disposal, and then we will go back through and actually start breaking shit down. Here's a very good one to have. Didn't really make any sense to me when I first got it last year, but getting more into the legal side of things and treaties and such, it's hella good resources. It's Documents of United States Indian Policy, the 2nd edition expanded. And I'll read the back cover to you real quick. It says it's a real contribution to American Indian historiography by providing this selection of essential documents will mark significant formulations of policy and the conduct of Indian affairs by the United States government. The 161 selection from George Washington's letter to James DeWayne in 1783 through the Menominee Restoration Act of 1973 include treaties, legislative enactments, judicial decisions, executive statements, and extracts from official commissions and committees which illustrate the history of the relations between the United States government and the American Indian from the founding of the nation to the present time. And this expanded edition adds 38 new documents dated 1972 to 1988. Pretty much, well, like I said, I haven't gone through it thoroughly, but if it's those dates, I'm got a feeling that's just dealing with the $5 Indians. Could be wrong. Would be nice if they did have something relating to the Lumbee or one of those more recently, well, I guess unrecognized tribes. But like I said, all in due time. Alright, what do we got next? Oh man, this is a big bitch, but I can't wait to tear through this motherfucker. And then on Amazon, I saw this thing going for like $100. This is why I encourage you to get out to your damn used bookstores. Stop being lazy. Go see what's out there. Like I said, $100 on Amazon. I paid what? $18.50 at Read It Again Sam's in Charlottesville. And it's pre-Columbian cities. Need I say more? Need it say more? But I mean, just flipping through the details, layouts of these cities, the urban developments. I mean, it's like every other picture has detailed illustrations like this. This thing ain't no joke. This is about 600 pages. Has pictures of excavations I've never seen before. Practically everything in this damn book I've never seen before on anybody's YouTube channel, social media, anything like that. That's gonna be a hard hitter right there. Oh, push on through. That is just something for little man was having a little difficulty in science, so I figured this be some fun things to get him back up to speed. What's that? 101 incredible experiments for the weekend scientist. All right. Oh yeah, this is the book that this is how I knew about that Pope that they dug up after he died to retry him again. Can't think of his name right now, but that was the first thing I read out of this book actually. And it's a dark history, the popes, vice, murder, and corruption in the Vatican. Yeah, that's his name, Formosus. Let's see if there's anything. And there you got the Cadaver Synod, the Ruler of the Harlots, and other Vatican scandals. Genocide, the Cathars, Part 1. Genocide, the Cathars, Part 2. Popes and Witches, the Borgias, the Galileo Affair, the Prisoner of the Vatican, Part 1. Prisoner of the Vatican, Part 2. The Pope and the Nazis. I don't think there's another page of table of contents. No, that's it. And y'all just gonna have to get used to my chewed up fucking fingernails because I've been chewing them since I was about 5 years old. I know, not the best habit, but I'm working on it. Anyway, oh yeah, Indian Mounds of the Middle Ohio Valley, a guide to Adena and Ohio Hopewell sites. Big ups to Chop Suey Books in Richmond for that find. Indians and Europe. Pretty sure you've seen on other people's channels them talk about how they actually took us from here to over there. Not just Africa, West Banks of Africa, but all over there on the other side of the country. I mean, other side of the country. Other side of the plane of this flat earth. And this is another thick ass book as usual. I think this is, yeah, about 600 plus pages. Let's see what's in the table of contents real quick. We got the wild man and the Indian in the early 16th century, the myth of the Indian monarchy, an aspect of the controversy between Tibet and Leray. That's 1575 to 1585. This is a collection of different writings from different people. This new prey, Eskimos in Europe in 1567, 1576, and 1577. Earliest extant painting of Greenlanders, Eskimos in Scotland. what is that, 1682 to 1924. You know what 1924 was? Racial Integrity Act. Anyway, Mohawks Abroad. The 1764 Amsterdam etching of Signecta. All right. Next selection. Until they are contaminated by their more refined neighbors, the images of the Native Americans and carvers travels through the interior and its influence on the Euro-American imagination. And if you know anything about the old books they were first writing about the natives, they were fucking obsessed with natives. They had fantasy tales about being captured by us. But we savages, though. We already know that when they first got here, they couldn't do shit, and they actually elected to leave their own colonies to come live with us instead, or our ancestors instead. So we'll get into all that. The traveling exhibition of Captain Samuel Hadlock Jr., Eskimos in Europe, 1822, 1826. What is this? This is Johann Gottfried Schadow and his Inuit portraits. Family of Badakudos exhibited on Bond Street in 1822. Among the Saguenayes, Ojibwa, and Iowa Indians with George Catlin. You got to know who George Catlin is. In Europe, 1843 to 1848. And, oh, there's plenty of selection. Okay, I thought that was in. Dickens on the Indians. An emerging dual image of native North Americans during the 19th century in Hungary. Indians in the reports of Polish travelers of the second half of the 19th century. Some Russian responses to North American Indian cultures. A 19th century Englishman's contribution to American Indian ethnology. Yes. Written by Colin Taylor, and that's not the name I'm really concerned with. That other name caught my eye. William Blackmore. Anyway, 9 Bella Coolers in Germany. We have Redskins at the Zoo. Sioux Indians in Budapest, 1886. Across the Big Water, American Indians' perceptions of Europe and Europeans, 1887 through 1906. Those Red Brick Faces, European press reactions to the Indians of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Native Americans in Columbus's homeland. The Bad Speakers and the Long Braids. I'm going to say that again. The Bad Speakers and the Long Braids. References to the foreign enemies and Lakota song text. The Red Man's Appeal for Justice. The Skahi and the League of Nations. Mutual Fascination. Indians in Dresden and Leipzig. Life Among the Papas. A case study of German Indian lore. Really did not realize that Germans were that fucking into natives. North American Indians in Italian, 1950 through 1981, a bibliography of books. A Fifth Gospel, almost. Chief Seattle Speeches, American Origins and European Reception. Alright, getting to the last couple of selections. They lived together with their dogs and horses. But they said they didn't have horses here with their lion asses. And that's another thing I'm going to touch on real quick, the dog thing. I see people that made videos not knowing what the hell they're talking about, yeah, black people don't like dogs. They used to sick us on them all the time, and Indians didn't have dogs. Throughout these books and these lessons to come, you're going to realize you said some stupid shit. And us indigenous peoples here in the South, we fucking love dogs. So I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. And it's mighty funny that if you look at the, especially going to like the Smithsonian website and check out some of their etchings and carvings, wood carvings and stuff, the pictures, the illustrations of them sicking the dogs on us. They always say sick release the hounds, sick the hounds on them. I don't see that many hound dogs in there. I always find it kind of curious that they're actually pit bulls that they sicked on us, and I always wonder, is that something of a mental thing that we like owning pit bulls? Is this a cultural thing we like owning? Is that our way of saying, oh, we conquered that aspect of it, but we'll get to the actual motherfucker that sicked on us later. I don't know. I really need to give too much thought to that. Anyway, who is afraid of, I don't know if that's just supposed to be AIM or just supposed to be said as AIM, but who is afraid, and has it all in capital letters, AIM. All right. Europe's role in displacing native Canadians. Was anybody more of an Indian than Karl Marx? What the fuck? The Indiani Metropolitani in the 1977 movement. The Polish movement, Friends of the American Indians in Europe. And got a question mark at the end. Editor's postscript. And finally, it's just an index of names. Got a feeling I love this fucking book. Alright. Black majority, and as you'll come to see, somewhere on the cover, some on the inside, but rarely have I ever paid more than $10 for any of these fucking books. Most I ever paid for any of the books is my the 2 parts of the Bureau of Ethnology. They're like this thick. I paid $100 for those for the set. Most I ever paid. Usually it's $20 or less. More often than not, $10 or less. But yeah, we had the Black Majority, Negroes in Colonial South Carolina from 1670 through the Stono Rebellion. Matter of fact, let me go back real quick because I didn't show y'all, just in case y'all want to do screen captures of the different articles that are put together to make this book. My bad. Alright. Like I said, I'm tired. I ain't gonna be sitting there holding it long enough for your ass to read the whole damn thing. If you want to see it, you can pause the screen and shit. Alright, back to Black Majority, Negroes in Colonial South Carolina from 1670 through the Stono Rebellion. And covering such topics as Part 1, African workers in the Carolina lowlands, the colony of a colony, black labor, white rice, the sovereign ray of health, black pioneers, Part 2, the changing frontier, black pioneers, more like a Negro country, Gullah speech, the roots of black English. Part 3, rising tensions, growing initiative among blacks, mounting anxiety among whites. Runaways, slaves who stole themselves. Part 4, a colony in conflict. Patterns of white control, patterns of black resistance. And it ends with the Stono Rebellion and its consequences. It also has a list of tables in here too. Be patient, people, and try to see if I'll have enough disposable income for a GoPro or something close enough to it this weekend, and maybe even a auxiliary microphone, so I can take y'all on some little walking tours around this historical state. Mix it up with something different. A field guide to animal tracks. Like I said, I got a decent amount of survival books. What's this? The Official Guide to America's National Parks. And I also have National Parks with Kids, and I think it just got more stuff to help you, I guess, better plan a family outing to one of the parks. Mine Own Ground, Race and Freedom on Virginia's Eastern Shore. 1640 to 1676. Very short table of contents. It's only a 100-some page book. Patriarch on cont'd Creek, race relations as status and process, Northampton County at mid-century, the free blacks of the Eastern Shore, and finally, conclusion, property in the context of freedom. I'm boxing myself in again. And picked this up like last week, maybe week before. It's a Zondervan book. It's Halley's Bible Handbook, large print edition, a concise Bible commentary, important discoveries in archaeology, how we got our Bible, an epitome of church history. Matter of fact, I think that, yeah, 50 fucking cents. You can play that waiting game on Amazon. You can get your ass out there and bust a move. I love a leather book with embossed lettering, gold foil, and a built-in bookmark. But this is of course, it's Time Life book, so of course it's a reprint. But I think this was originally printed in like the 1850s, like 1859. It's The Prairie Traveler by U.S. Army Captain Marcy. It's a handbook for overland expeditions with maps, illustrations, and itineraries of the principal routes between the Mississippi and the Pacific. Definitely tear through that one. Actually ended up somehow buying 2 of these off Amazon. I must have didn't check my quantity when I ordered it. So I got 1 of these for disposal. By that I mean free, whoever the fuck wants it. The Tao of Jeet Kune Do by Bruce Lee. A lot of good usable martial arts in there, because a lot of that shit, I'm sorry if you took Taekwondo, I did too when I started off martial arts. A lot of that shit gonna get you fucked up in an actual street fight. A lot more practical shit with Jeet Kune Do, because you know he based it on throwing out all the shit that wasn't useful. There was simply arts of the martial arts and wasn't actually effective in a street fight. What else we got here? Yeah, let's see. Where did I find this magazine? That might have found it at Barnes and Noble. I don't know. American Indian Past and Present. It's a Whispering Wind magazine. And it just has a lot of different articles about different things. It's more about the, I guess, the artistic side of native culture. Has a decent size thing about the different museums and the exhibitions going on. We can find material to make your own indigenous jewelry, whether it be quill work, leather and skin, jewelry, clothing, crafts and supplies, beads and shells. That's really why I got the magazine. The Aztecs, Rise and Fall of an Empire. I'm not even going to spoil it and start showing you the images in here. You just going to have to wait. You just going to have to wait. That's all I'm going to say about that one. One of my favorite magazines. Well, damn, see my cat didn't chew on it. The Backwoodsman. A whole lot of usable survival stuff in there. I think I got maybe 4 or 5 issues of that. Ida B. Wells, Lynch Law in Georgia, and Other Writings. Like I said, I'm not only bringing my jack of all trade, or many trades I should say, not all, skill set. I'm bringing half of a fucking library with me too. So I suggest you don't come in empty-handed. Have something to offer, have something to barter. Lynch, what we have? Introduction, blah, blah, blah. Lynch law in Georgia, mob rule in New Orleans, the East St. Louis massacre, the Arkansas race riot, and ends with a bibliography. Right. This is a book I thought I had lost, and then when I went on Amazon, I couldn't freaking find it, so I was pissed. But all praise to the Most High, I did find it, so good thing I did. I start digging back through my books, trying to organize them. This is by Friar Diego de Landa. It's Yucatan, before and after the conquest. Ooh. Well, when we actually start going through this book, we'll go through the contents, because like those older books and the Dover books, it'll be like chapter 1, and it gives you almost how you see certain Bibles written. Like it'll give you the chapter, then they break down the sequence, the different parts throughout the chapter, and I'm not going through all that right now. Oh yeah, this is interesting. Another one from the good old Richmond Bookshop. Metropolis of the American Nile. Memphis and Shelby County. One of the things that caught my eye is the back cover, not the front cover. Check him out. Check him out. And then I'll read the description of what it says the back cover is. Then I'll point something out real quick. It says back cover, as Memphians made ready to welcome Grover Cleveland, the first Democratic president after the Civil War, the theme of the city's ancient Egyptian namesake reasserted itself as it has done periodically throughout its history. This 1887, 1880s was some busy years. This 1887 poster shows how some Memphians wanted to present their city to the nation. The people of Memphis are symbolized in the 2 Egyptian figures. Agriculture and commerce are shown as bringing prosperity to the area. Understated but still significant, below the draped platform. Remember this part, what I'm about to show you. So, understated but still significant, below the draped platform are gray and blue uniform hands clasped firmly in friendship. And you know what the blue and grays are. Civil War. And you ever heard the term under the table deals? Take a look at it again. Hold on, yeah, right there. And the Masonic handshake. And if you did any real fucking history of the Civil War, you know the significance behind that. But anyway, this is a good one for ones in the know. Greg Davenport, he writes pretty good books on being out in nature and stuff. Alright, Surviving the Desert. Greg Davenport's Books for the Wilderness. Here we have Forced Founders, Indians, Debtors, Slaves, and the Making of the American Revolution in Virginia. And it really doesn't give you much in the table of contents. You got part 1, Grievances, 1763 to 1774. Land speculators versus Indians in the Privy Council. Never heard of the Privy Council, definitely had to look that up. Tobacco growers versus merchants in Parliament. Part 2, Boycotts, 1769 to 1774. Non-importation, non-exportation. Part 3, Unintended Consequences, 1775-1776. Free Virginians versus slaves in Government Dunmore. That's pretty much the thing that caught my eye, made me buy the book. Gentlemen versus farmers, and you know Masons refer to themselves as gentlemen, and they play a gentleman's game. And what they mean by, I'm diverting real quick, but what they mean by what they say playing a gentleman's game is that they lay out a trail of clues for you. They're not going to make it easy for you, but they call that playing a fair gentleman's game, that they even let any of it out to you. You got to figure it out on your own, though. Because they actually are looking for a good fucking fight. Unbalanced one, but you know how they do. Part 4, Independence, 1776, Spirit of the People, and then epilogue. So if you wanted to see that, hold on. Lost my page, alright. You ready? The Indian Heritage of America from the American Heritage Library. All right. Stereotypes and the real Indian, the diversities of Indians, Indianness, the white man's debt to Indians, early man in the Americas, agriculture and the rise of population, the native peoples of the far north, the Indians of the subarctic, the tribes of the northwest Pacific coast, the tribes of the northeast woodlands, the tribes of the southeastern United States, the plains Indians, the peoples of the Great Basin, the Indians of the plateau, the native peoples of California, the Indians of the southwest, the Indians of northern Mexico, Indian civilizations of Middle America, Indians of Central America and the Caribbean, Indian civilizations of Ecuador and the Central Andes, the Indians of the Southern Andes, the South American tropical forest tribes, the marginal nomadic Indians of South America, marginalized, the impact of the white man on Indians, the white man's conquest of the Indians, Latin America, the white man's conquest of the Indians, the United States and Canada, the 20th century struggle for survival, and 500 years after Columbus, Indians today. And I went kind of fast, so there you go. Alright, there we go. And then you can see the list of illustrations. Okay. Oh yeah, and definitely that's another thing, man. Check out y'all local historical societies. And oftentimes, man, I wish I would have just went ahead and spent the 70. Hold on, was it $70? Nah, it was like $35. And it was the complete index of every freaking article, every name, whatever you could think of in every one of these historical society magazines. And when I did finally say, okay, I'll take some of this disposable income and go get it, of course it was gone. One of the rare times where I went back for a book and it was gone. And the reason I copped this one, and a lot of times, one more thing real quick, check out your local libraries, because a lot of these I just get from the local library. They have them there. They got newer issues. They have like a little, I guess about shit this big drawer where it's free magazines people putting there. Some people just bring them from home to clear their fucking house out, and the library clears their shit out, throwing it in there. They don't give a damn how many you take all of them if you want to. They never, I done came out there with like stacks like this and they never complain. Different books dealing with firearms, just different I don't know, Time magazines, Smithsonian magazines, National Geographic, stuff like that, and these. But the reason I bought this, because this actually even, well, I ain't gonna get too personal, but This Unpleasant Business, Slavery, Law, and the Pleasance Family in Post-Revolutionary Virginia. For a certain person, you know why I got this book. But yeah, we'll touch on that too. I believe I also got this from the Richmond Bookshop. Legends of Virginia. And this is, what is this, like a book from like 1930? Yeah, 1931. And I don't even know what the other legends are in here, but I saw this one legend. I was like, okay, definitely gonna cop that. And because I've heard about, my dad used to tell me places around here. I wish he was still living. Rest in peace. But I never got that information from him. But he used to tell me about places that had these racist ass names like Nigger Hill, Nigger Creek, shit like that. And when I just saw this Negro Foot, Legend of the Negro Foot, it's a weird kind of story. I'll get around to telling it to you one day. Not tonight. Not tonight. All right. Definitely need to try to find volume 1 of this. This is the Roanoke Voyages, 1584 through 1590. This is the, of course, second volume. Only $5.95. Says with maps. What the hell was the map at? Unless the maps must be in the first damn section, the first volume. I don't see no freaking maps. See some crest and other things, man. Yeah, maybe the page stuck together. I don't know. It's documents to illustrate the English voyages to North America under the patent granted to Walter Raleigh in 1584. And the contents, okay, we get of course this is part 2, so it starts off at chapter 8, the 1587 voyages, the failure to relieve the Virginia colonies, 1588 to 1589, the 1590 voyages and the search for the lost colony. I'm sure you heard about that, Croatan and all that. Spain and the Roanoke voyages, 1584 through 1588. Spain and Virginia, 1588 through 1600, and has 4 appendixes with it. The map of Raleigh's Virginia, on page 841. I just want to, oh shit. Maybe I need to grab it from the actual very back of the book. And I come to find that a lot of these old books, well, this book ain't really that old, but a lot of those older books I have mint ass maps. Of course, this one is mint because it's a newer book. But, oh, tear it up. Alright, get back to that table of contents. Yeah, so that was the map of Raleigh's Virginia, the language of the Carolina Algonquin tribes. Third appendix, the archaeology of the Roanoke settlements, and the last appendix is sources. Don't skip on checking into those footnotes. The invasion of Europe by the barbarians. Need I say more? Let's check out them TOC real quick. The Germans and their wanderings. Early German history, West Germans and East Germans, political institutions of the Germans, early Gothic migrations. Lecture 2, the Roman Empire and the Germans, the Gothic attack in the 3rd century AD, the Visigothic occupation of Dacia, Ostrogothic and Visigothic settlements, new organization of the empire. Lecture 3, the clash of Roman and barbarian, the population of the empire, the forces of the empire and of the barbarians, the Germanic penetration of the empire. Damn, I didn't show y'all that. Man, I'm just going to keep it rolling. I'm too tired for this. The Germanic penetration of the empire, Hermanric and Wulfilas, 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 I don't know. The advent of the Huns, Lecture 4, the Visigothic entry into the empire, the Hunnic attack on the Goths and its sequel, the Battle of Hadrianople, the Visigothic settlement. Oh, good gosh, there's a lot of, alright. Didn't expect this thin book to have that much in the table of contents. Alright. Theodosius and Alaric, Stilicho and the Divided Empire, Alaric at large in Illyricum, I know somebody who actually studied this shit in school. It's like, boy, you was tearing it up. The raiding of Italy and Gaul. Oh, this is lecture 5, by the way. The raiding of Italy and Gaul. Alaric turns from east to west. The puzzle of Stilicho's behavior. The breaking of the Rhine frontier. Death of Stilicho. Lecture 6. The Visigoths in Italy and in Gaul. The sack of Rome. Death of Alaric. Ataulf in Galla. Placidia. Walia. Or, well, you know, 2 L's can make a Y. So Walia, and the settlement in Gaul. Lecture 7, Gaul, Spain, and African in transition. Gaul, Spain, and Africa in transition. The Visigothic kingdom of Toulouse, Sueves and Vandals in Spain. Gaia Placidia and Boniface. The Vandal conquest of Africa. Attius and Valentinian III. Lecture 8, a new menace to the empire. The treaty between Attius and Gesseric. The Anglo-Saxon conquest of Britain. The Huns and Attila. Lecture 9, Attila's attack on Gaul and Italy. The intrigues of Honoria. The Hunnic invasion of Gaul. The incursion of the Huns into Italy. Death of Attila and the collapse of the empire. Lecture 10, decline of the Roman power in the West, influence of the Vandal occupation of Africa, Ricimer and the last phantom empires in the West, Gundobad and Orestes in Italy, deposition of Romulus, Augustulus and its significance, Odovacar, patrician and king in Italy. Lecture 11, the Ostrogothic conquest of Italy, the early life of Theodoric the Ostrogoth, the overthrow of Odovacar in Italy, the completion of the Ostrogothic conquest, the Ostrogothic constitution, the reign of Theodoric. Lecture 12, Visigoths and Franks in Gaul, the kingdom of the Toulouse under Euric, the Roman remnant in Gaul, the early history of the Franks, the reign of the Childeric the Frank. The reign of Childeric the Frank. Lecture 13, the reign of Clovis, the overthrow of Syagrius, the marriage of Clovis and Clotilda, the conquest of the Alemanni, the conversion of Clovis, the conquest of Visigothic Gaul, the absorption of the Ripuarian Franks, relation of the Clovis to the Roman Empire. Lecture 14, the Lombard invasion of Italy, the origin of the Lombards, changes in South Germany, the Lombard migrations, the advent of the Avars, the destruction of the Gepidae, the Lombard settlement in Italy, the Lombard polity. And finally, lecture 15, the Lombard law, the administrative system of the Lombards, the code of Rothari, the laws of Luitprand. Well, I know I tore some names up that time. Cover, oh, you've seen the cover, and you can go ahead and screenshot, go on through that at your leisure. I don't know if these things are actually picking up. Because last time it looked grainy as hell when I was recording, but it turned out kind of alright when I actually posted it. Alright, I just have to bring it down to sections. That page, let's go on to this page. God damn, I'm almost at an hour. Shit. Alright. Well, I guess we both halfway through that. Alright, fuck, let's keep it rolling. I think this is one of those like college class books. Discovering the American Past, Volume 1. to 1877. A look at the evidence. Let's see what we got in the table of contents. Well, every chapter is pretty much broken down as the problem, the background, the method, the evidence. Yeah, college book. Then excerpts and questions. Chapter 1 will be the first encounters, the confrontation between Cortez and Montezuma, 1519 through 1521. Chapter 2, the threat of Anne Hutchinson. Chapter 3, rhythms of colonial life, the statistics of colonial Massachusetts Bay. Chapter 4, what really happened in the Boston Massacre, the trial of Captain Thomas Preston. Chapter 5, the first American party system, the Philadelphia congressional election of 1794. Chapter 6, vested interest and economic democracy, the Taney Court and the Charles River Bridge decision in 1837. Chapter 7, away from home, the working girls of Lao. Chapter 8, the peculiar institution, slaves tell their own story. Chapter 9, making value judgments, Thoreau, Douglas, Polk, and the Mexican War. Chapter 10, the price for victory, the decision to use African American troops. Chapter 11, Reconstruction, the political cartoonist and the national mood. That's it. Damn it, I'm sleepy. My damn tongue's sleepy. William the Conqueror. Let's see what the good old TOC got to say. Alright, setting the scene, boyhood and youth, supremacy in northern France, Normandy before 1066, the conquest of England, the triumphant king, the man and his family, William and his Anglo-Norman dominions, the structure of conquest, William and the church, difficult times, the last years. Definitely been finding some good stuff in here. I don't even think I got past where I'm at. Am I in the C's? Yeah, I'm just, oh wow, I got a little further than I thought. I actually made it into the G's. This will be the Native American, or Encyclopedia of the Native American Religions, a comprehensive guide to the spiritual traditions and practices of North American Indians. Good stuff, good stuff. And this is encyclopedia, so we'll just actually go through that one time at a time when we get to it. Another Virginia magazine from the Historical Society. And let's see what caught my eye in these articles. I see it. To be freed from that curs and let at liberty. Interracial, adultery, and divorce. I gotta read that shit again. To be freed from that cures and let at liberty. What the fuck does that mean? Interracial, adultery, and divorce in antebellum Virginia. Man, that's gonna burn some rednecks up when I read that shit. Man, just a little pocketbook on weather. Nothing big there. I don't know if I showed one of these books before. The Man, Myth, and Magic, Illustrated Encyclopedia of the Supernatural. I hope to go back. If I didn't mention it before, I hope to go back this weekend and get the rest of it. I think it was like maybe 22 or 23 books in the whole volume. I think I got maybe 7 or 8 of them already. So I hope somebody, and I kind of did that because I didn't have the money there. They were only like $4 a pop. But I didn't have the money to get the whole set, so I bought up a lot of them so people will be like, fuck, I ain't got the whole set. Ain't no point in me buying them. So hopefully they're all still there when I go back. I know that's kind of fucked up, but hey, I saw them first. But definitely, like I said, it's an Italian encyclopedia of all this, so you can definitely notice the different tone. And then I think it had stuff in there that even if it was the same subject matter, if it was published here, they wouldn't cover some of this shit, and especially mention some of the shit that they do. Am I breathing hard? Got a big old indigenous inhaler right here, and this thing's kind of squeezing it down, kind of stopping me up. Anyway, my folks don't want me to talk about slavery. Man, this dude on here looks so familiar, but I can't think of who he reminds me of. And of course, this is 21 Oral Histories of Former North Carolina Slaves. And the contents is just all of their names. So I'll just, if you want to screenshot that and look into any stories, maybe find some more detail. Because for it to be 21 stories, it's really not all that thick. But then again, like I said, don't nobody want to talk about slavery. And it's on there, yeah, it's not even 100 pages. Ooh. Always good to have on hand. The Constitution of the United States, its sources, and its application. Oh, shit. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Once again, a must-have if you're going to really be breaking down the laws of the land. Not the laws of the Most High. The laws of the land they put upon us. Latin into English dictionary. I think, once again, I thought it was 50 cents, $2, but the place I get it from, they have color-coded stickers, so I think yellow might be like half off, so I probably paid $1 for it. Self-explanatory. Atlas of World History. Just a reference source for maps to go along with your studies. And yet again, Historical Atlas of the United States. A little more in-depth, a little more hefty. Oh shit, I'm on that space. Another one of my favorite magazines again. Another issue, The Backwoodsman. You know, they take a gander at some of the articles they cover in there. I know I mentioned National Geographic magazines earlier. I don't really fuck with National Geographic too heavy, but this is pretty handy. The Ultimate Hiker's Gear Guide. And no, I did not pay no $7 whatever for it. Let me see, I ain't got the price written on it, so I probably paid $3 at Goodwill. Time frame 1500 through 600 BC. Barbarian tides, the aggressive empires, Egypt's golden age, the Greek crucible, the Mediterranean traders, Asian evolutions, and awakening in the Americas. I don't think it's really a point in me having to go through that table of contents. Yeah, I'm getting tired. I'm trying to rush through shit. The new Rand McNally College World Atlas, the indispensable World Atlas for home, office, and school. Never rely on just one source. Probably got, well, if you include all the Spanish, French, Latin, and Hebrew dictionaries and shit I probably got at least a dozen dictionaries, probably at least half as many atlases. Sometimes I just like little fun reads, learn different things, kind of addicted to forbidden knowledge. This has been Franklin's Almanac of Wit, Wisdom, and Practical Advice, useful tips, and fascinating facts for every day of the year. You know the type of book. What is this? Oh, I love the cover on this. You probably can't really, damn it. But like I said, I love the leather, and I also love when they it's like they weave in like a metallic fabric to make a picture. I don't know if it's It's like a portrait of Nero. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there. Sitting on the spine. It shows up a little better. But it's just a book about Nero. That son of a bitch. Nero comes to the throne. I'm not going to read all the little sub. I'll show it to you so you can go through that, but I'm just going to read the main topic of the chapter. Nero comes to the throne. Nero's mother in charge. Nero and his helpers. The death of Agrippina, an emperor who sings, acts, and races. Hard realities of an emperor's life. Expansion and exploration. New advisors and a new wife. The Great Fire and the Christians. The Golden House, art and luxury. The official image of Nero. The upper class backlash. Rebellion and triumph, and the end. Then it has 3 appendixes. The Legend of Nero, the sources of information, and genealogical tables. Oh man, you ever seen one of these? I'm hoping there's another thrift store in the county I live in. I'm hoping to go back there too this weekend. It's not a big one like this, but it's a smaller one, but it's a Masonic Bible, and I just wanted to see if there's anything different between that one, and if you can see that at the bottom there, you know what that symbol is. That is the Eastern Stars. And you know, just like they keep like Prince Hall, the Black Masons, porch monkeys, keep them on the porch, don't let them in the house, the pyramid, their temple. They also keep even their Eastern Star women at a certain distance from certain knowledge. So I wanted to see if that might have something that this doesn't have in it. And the main part I probably will want to, the hell, goddamn cat head. Main part of this I would like to show you would be, I mean, of course they got stuff about King Solomon's temple in here. The Tabernacle of Moses, you know, they're all into those measurements and all that, but it's got a biblical index to Freemasonry that you see that I ain't bullshitting. What else? We got a couple other sections in here. I think this thing is from like 1970, and I found this at the local thrift store. I guess, I don't know if somebody died. Grandpa left him some books. They said, hell, I don't want them. So they give them to the thrift store. Yeah, we're going to be going through this when I get around to it. When I get around to this book, I mean, it's questions and answers relating to the history and work of Freemasonry and the Eastern Star, not of a biblical nature. Give you just an idea of the different questions and shit they have in there. I think there's one more section in here that one. And like I said, this one being a Eastern Star Bible, I'm gonna get you a little history of the Eastern Star. But it also has, oh yeah, if you can see this, well, I'm sure you can, but the internal workings of Freemasonry, and it goes all the way from the Blue Lodge Masonry, Master Degree, Royal Arch Masonry, the York Rite, Templars, Order of Malta, Royal Arch Degree, Cryptic Masonry, blah, 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 blah. Ancient and accepted Scottish Rite Masonry, and it goes through different levels of that as well. So, yeah, we'll be going through all of this. I think those are all the, yeah, because everything else, and then it, you know, picks up into a regular Bible. And from the little excerpts I read, I didn't notice any glaring differences at all from a regular old Bible. And of course, they got their old buddy, they heroes, so-called words in red letters. So, anyway. What do we have here? Oh, yeah. The religions of the American Indians. I wasn't bullshitting when I'm telling you I got half a damn library and I need some help with this. So as we go along, I'm pretty sure some righteous brothers and sisters will begin to view this page, and we'll be learning together. 'Cause like I said, most of this I haven't even gone through thoroughly, so we'll be learning together. It'll be a beautiful thing. All right, Chapter 1, Tribal Religions. The supernatural, the concept of the high god, the world picture and the deities of the cosmogonic myths, gods and the spirits of nature, totemism and the belief in guardian spirits, medicine men and shamans, the great tribal ceremonies, cult organizations, the soul and life hereafter, historical patterns of development in modern forms of religion. Chapter 2, Religions of the American High Culture, the history of culture and religion in nuclear America, the religion of the Inca Indians, Maya Indians, the religion of the Aztecs. And, oh yeah, that's it. Then it goes to the bibliography. So I guess it's really not chapters as so much it is two separated parts. Tribal religions and religions of the American high culture. And, oh, yeah, let me let y'all see that real quick. Then I'll show you the list of plates. You know, plates are just illustrations. It's the method that they use to make it is why they're called plates. List of plates. Oh, I can't wait to get a better camera. Oh yeah, it's a continuation of the list of plates right there. And I wish I could provide better lighting, but more than likely, given my schedule between work and school, I'm doing most of my videos at night, except for the weekend if I can make time. That's usually time for my wifey and my son, and my mom too. If I cut that light on back there, you won't be able to see any of this. So we're just gonna have to make do for the time. All right, 1524 to the present, the American Indian experience, a profile. Y'all should be familiar with that image. Old De Beers. All right, part 1, from contact to removal. Black robes and Boston men. Indian-white relations in New France and New England, 1524 to 1701. Spaniards, Frenchmen, and Indians. European-Indian relations in the greater Southwest. Mutual dependency and mutual distrust. Indian-white relations in British America. Images, the problem of the Indian in the Revolution. Breaching the Ohio boundary. The Western tribes in retreat. The Trail of Tears, removal of the Southern Indians. All right, part 2, the climactic ordeals. Industrial society and the opening of the West, the American Indian in the trans-Mississippi West and the impact of the American Civil War. Fire and Sword, ambiguity and the Plains War. The bitter years, Western Indian reservation life. Humanity and reform, Indian policy and the Hayes presidency. To Kill a Nation, liquidation of the 5 Indian republics. Visions of a New Order. Reformers' images of the Native Americans. The late 19th century. From bullets to boarding schools. The educational assault on the American Indian identity. The divided heart. The Indian New Deal. Dislocated, the federal policy of termination and relocation, 1945 to 1960. Bury My Heart in Smog. Urban Indians. Yo so-called black ass. Something old, something new. Indians since World War II. And there you go. I swore I won't go do over an hour, but we rolling now. Oh yeah, another thing. as I complete a book, not guaranteeing, but may or may not sell it. Okay, but don't get your hopes up. Don't make requests. I'll let you know if I'm willing to sell a book or not. And also, I have certain people that I've already told get first dibs on shit, so I'll holler at them first, and then I will publicly address whether or not I'm selling certain books. I don't even know what the hell this is. What is this? Oh, the Historical Society, well, the American Historical Review. I have no idea. This might have been one of the ones where I just grabbed because it was free. I don't know. It's a, as you can see, it's a lot in this content. So I'm gonna just sit that to the side for now. Oh, here's a good one. I always hear people talk about Black's Law Dictionary. I have one around here somewhere. I think I have the fourth or fifth edition. But I don't really hear too many people talk about this here. This is the fourth edition of Criminal Procedure. And this definitely has its fair share of interesting legal matters. Well, stuff concerning legal matters. Once again, another historical society book. Let you get a better look at that cover. And yes, they are doing that good old Mason hand inside the jacket shit. Quick FYI, somebody who knows me from school, had no I fucking did I was doing that shit. When I used to wear the all blue Dickie suit, the blue Chuck's blue rag hanging out and shit, I had no idea what that meant. But I think mine was, how did I have it in my hand? Like, I don't know, some kind of way, not all the hand in there. I was doing, I don't know, some shit I made up. If I only knew then. We have Freedom, Labor, and Enterprise, Black Virginians in the 19th Century. And that's actually, usually it's like 2 or 3 different things, but this entire one is about that. We'll definitely read a couple of those selections of articles. Yeah, getting it on down. I think we got less than, we got about 15 to go, man. Black Elk Speaks is told through John G. Neihart, aka Flaming Rainbow, by Nicholas Black Elk. Let's see. And oh yeah, I apologize for not going through the table of contents of, like I said, the first video, but we'll get around to it. Don't worry, we'll get around to it. All right. I'm just gonna let you see these table of contents. Let me see. It also has a list of illustrations. Contents, and there's the list of illustrations. Oh yeah, another thing, don't just look for the books I'm showing you. When you're looking up the stuff in the table of contents and illustrations, the plates and stuff, go ahead and Google it. You might find something even better than what's in that book. And this man, it's alright. I'm a little disappointed. I think this is the only book by Dover, and Dover is one of my favorite publishers. One of my less favorite ones, but it is what it is. North American Indian Life, Customs and Traditions of 23 Tribes, with 26 plates. And I guess it's like a collection of folklore legends, whatever you want to call it, or exaggerated truths, whatever you want to call it. Plains tribes, tribes of the Middle East, Eastern tribes, tribes of the Southwest, Mexican tribes, Pacific Coast tribes, Northern Athabascan tribes, and Eskimos. And I'll let you see all the underlining content of those different chapters. Oh shit, my bad. The world of the Celts. Some quite interesting statues and figures in here. Now what you think they will have Celts looking like. Not gonna get into all that right now. Let's see. A quick overview of the table of contents. Who were the Celts? The earliest Celts, the Celtic lands, the patterns of life, the Celts at war, gods in the afterlife, Latin art and technology, the Celts in the classical world, the Celts of Ireland, the Celtic Renaissance, and to modern times. See all the subtext under there. Alright. Oh man. Pretty good workout routines in here. From Paul Coach Wade. Convict conditioning. Ultimate bodyweight training log. Yeah, like I said, convict conditioning. You won't believe how physically fit some of them cats in there are. I think, as a matter of fact, you'll probably see the most physically fit people you've ever seen inside a fucking prison. Organs probably ain't that goddamn good with all that bullshit and high sodium shit they have in there, but I remember hearing about this what would you call it, journalism incident here. It's John Howard Griffin's Black Like Me. It's the white journalist who, what was this, in the 60s? Oh, in the 50s. As you can see, that's regular old him back there in the background. This is him after applying some, going blackface, undercover. Motherfucker would have never fooled me, but I haven't read this book yet, but it's gonna be interesting to read to see if he actually fooled anybody and was able to infiltrate into the black culture. All right. The ancient Greeks. Background of Greek history, geography and climate, effects of the environment, how the Greeks made a living, religious spirit, the rise of Athens to greatness, dates and history, the greatness of Athens, daily life of a citizen, the Greek polis, the political development of Athens, the Golden Age. Oh, you know what? I'm not reading all this shit. I'm reading the main chapters. I'm sorry. The background of Greek history, the rise of Athens to greatness, the Golden Age of Athenian democracy, the first stage of Greek civilization, Greek history, the decline of the Greek states 440 to 336 BC, the expansion of Greek civilization, Alexander the Great, the Hellenistic Age, sources on Athenian democracy and imperialism, and then they got a list of special topics. Alright, so I'll just let you see that so you can see everything up under those that I said. I'm starting to get hungry. Sources of the West, Readings in Western Civilization, Volume 1. Damn, I didn't even realize this was only a Volume 1 when I first got it. And to find the other volumes. From the Beginning to 1715. Well, that covers most of what I was looking for anyway. Thanks. Shit, bothering me. Alright, Part 1, the origins of the Western civilization and the classical world, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the creation epic, the Book of Genesis, Hesiod, Works and Days, the Ancient Near East, Code of Hammurabi, the Book of the Dead, the Book of Exodus, the Book of Isaiah, Ancient and Classical Greece, Homer's Iliad, Sappho of Lesbos, poems, Herodotus history, and I actually have that somewhere, the actual thick-ass Herodotus history. I think these are all just like little excerpts and commentaries. How the hell? Through Thucydides's History of the Peloponnesian War, Xenophon, the Spartan Constitution, Plato's Apology, Plato's The Republic, Aristotle's Politics. Oh shit, why do I keep starting off with it? Man, I'm sorry, I'm getting hungry. I'll just let you read that. You get the gist of it. Just seeing if anything stands out right off top to me. Yeah. One more page. All right. I love machinery and how things work, because what I do is maintenance, and maintenance pretty much ain't nothing but reverse engineering. Yeah, maintenance is reverse engineering. 507. I was really disappointed how thin this damn book was. I wish I would have clicked on it. I did order this off Amazon, so paying $8.95. Yeah, I was pissed that it was this thin of a book. I thought it would be more in detail as to the sequence of motions and stuff like that, but I guess it'll challenge your brain. Like I said, reverse engineering, figure out how you could apply it to different machinery. And I think it will be a handy book for our travels, put it like that. 507 mechanical movements, mechanisms, and devices. Just give you a gist of what it looks like. It'll have a page like that, and then on the other side, it'll go into brief detail of how it operates or what it was used for. So, Facing East from Indian Country, a native history of early America. All right. Prologue, Early America as Indian Country. Imagining a distant world, confronting a material new world, living with Europeans, native voices in the colonial world, native peoples in the imperial world, separate creations. That's interesting. If you've been studying certain material, that's a very interesting title for a chapter. And it's talking about indigenous peoples and those who aren't. Epilogue, Eulogy from Indian Country, and Technical Notes, Acknowledgement Index. Okay, the Here go the other 3 issues of the Backwoodsman. Actually, I think I think that's American Pioneer that got the actual. I think it got Seminoles or Sioux Indians on the cover. But anyway, let's check out some of those articles. And they also, real quick, let me see. I think it's towards the beginning. They sell back issues, and I like the fact that I believe they sell their back issues not just as one, where it's like they charge you twice, so 3 times, if not 4 times as much what the original price was. Instead, they take a couple of issues or maybe the whole year worth of issues or something, and it's all in one booklet. I don't see the advertisement was up front for that, but I guess you just go on the website and you can find it too. And oh, that's another thing with the Ancient American magazine, the Mormon magazine. They sell back issues as well. Some of them are sold out, but I think the ones that even are sold out, the actual, well, I guess the CD's still tangible, but the magazine form, if they're sold out, they sell CDs too of the issues. There you go. All right. Obviously, I can't count for shit because I had to be put together with these more than some damn print. The Black Death, the Great Mortality of 1348 through 1350, a brief history with documents. That is to say, with evidence. Let me look through the whole thing first, but yep, good thing I did. I'm just going to say the main, the bold print of the table of contents. Part 1, the Black Death in History. Part 2, the documents, geographical origins, symptoms and transmission, medical responses, societal economic impact, religious mentalities, the psyche of hysteria, Jewish pogroms. Never seen that fucking word a day in my life. The artistic response, the dance of death, trancy tombs, and then it's a list of illustrations. So let me let y'all gloss over that. And there's just the illustration. All right. Yeah, I like reading weird shit sometimes, and sometimes reading weird shit you can relate it to actual, I guess you say, hidden history. This is the world of lore, monstrous creatures. I'll just let you see this table of contents. Truth is stranger than fiction. No, I can't show y'all that. That's for select individuals. Sorry, but if I would have made this video private starting off, I would have done that, but no. The rise and fall of Maya civilization. Alright, I can go over this one. This one ain't too bad. Excuse me. Alright. What is that notation of Maya dates? Excuse me. Alright, prologue. Some problems posed, geography and environment, language and population, physical appearance and psychological traits, search and research, dating Maya history and the carbon-14 process, should say the flawed carbon-14 process, the rise and fluorescence of Maya city-states populating the New World, beginning of civilization in Middle America, the formative period, the classic period beginning, the classic period, fluorescence, collapse of city-states, the decline and fall of Maya civilization, wax moth in the Maya hive, Mexican intrusion, centralized government at Mayapan, independent chieftainships, intellectual and artistic achievement, character and training, the philosophy of time, intellectual achievement, inventions and discoveries, hieroglyphic writing. The rise and fall of Maya civilization, literature, artistic achievement, currency, and commerce. Sketches of Maya life, preamble, the novice, the daily round, the architect at Chichen Itza, marriage a la mode, death and life, Maya religion, cosmology, the gods, the soil and the maize, creation myths, sacrifices, the priesthood, ceremonies, dances, religion and the individual, Maya civilization in retrospect, development and decline. And of course, good old list of illustrations and figures. All right, turn it on back for you. And continuation of illustrations and figures. All right, we almost done. Damn, hour and a half later. Yeah, 3 more to go. 4 more to go. 5 more to go. All right. And just a little pamphlet from Jalil Matikum. I guess I said that right. On the Black Liberation Army. I also have something about in Philly when they dropped that block of C4 on that African nation, with Johnny Africa in them. I got it's a little thicker than this pamphlet on that as well. But I believe I found this at the Richmond Bookshop as well. Very few books come from Amazon. I ain't calling him the great, but you see the damn title, Alexander. I'll show you, so you can pause it if you want to, everything under the main caption of the chapters. But I'm just going to read the main part. Philip of Macedon, the Gardens of Midas, From a View to a Death, the Keys of the Kingdom, the Captain, General, the Road to Isis. And it's not spelt how you would think it is. Imitations of Immortality, The Lord of Asia, The Quest for Ocean, and How Many Miles to Babylon. And a list of maps. Oh, a list of maps and battle plans. First time I've seen that. Alright. Fucking around with a damn crick in my neck, having to keep leaning around the damn book to see what I'm doing. Another book about the barbarians. The Barbarian Speaks. And subtitled, How the Conquered Peoples Shaped Roman Europe. Natives and Romans. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is Europe before the conquest. 3, Iron Age urbanization. 4, the Roman conquest. 5, identities and perceptions. 6, development of the frontier zone. 7, persistence of tradition. 8, town, country, and change. 9, transformation into new societies. 10, impact across the frontier. And 11, conclusion. With a glossary and a list of Greek and Roman authors. And a list of figures and tables. Yeah, alright. I mean, not really much to see there. I actually think that book I showed earlier that had the, what was it, a mace or something on the cover, that red book about the barbarians, but Barbarian Speak or whatever. I know this is Barbarian Speak, whatever the other one was titled. Seems like that one gonna be a little more for what I'm looking for, or we're looking for. We in this shit together. All right, people. Call it a night here in a second. Oh. Yeah, this one is from 1930. I remember when I first got this. Dang, I lost this one for a while too. And it's simply titled, I don't know if you can even, yeah, you can't even see that. Maybe it's written on the inside. Oh, yeah. Civilization, an essay. One thing real quick I will read out here. Had me tripping. Where is it at? Where is it at? You know how the natives had trouble getting those colonizers, settlers, to wash their ass. Matter of fact, they said they tried and they still wouldn't fucking do it. But made me think of this right here. First thing I thought when I saw it. If I can find it. Now I'll read, once we actually get into this book, I'll go back and read it from the beginning to right here. But basically it was talking about how they were talking about how we were savages, shit like that, of course. Then it says, the truthfulness of savages has often astounded explorers. Don't they say we lie all the fucking time? Huh. Well, this man in 1930 felt otherwise. The Vedas of Celion are said to be models of veracity, in both Andaman Islanders and Bushmen regard lying as a great sin. I ain't got to say no more than that. On the other hand, the Greeks and Cretans, it will be remembered. Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, on the other hand, the Greeks and Cretans, it will be remembered, had a poor reputation in this respect. While on the continent of Europe, the distinctive epithet reserved for Great Britain is perfidious. Yeah, perfidious. Not only truthful, many savages are clean. The Meji, M-E-G, with the accent graph over the last E. Anyway, a miserable people of the Gold Coast. Why the fuck they gotta be miserable? Subject to the savage Manbutu, wash 2 or 3 times a day. But they're miserable people. Clean as a fucking whistle. But they're miserable. They don't have what we have to offer. They're miserable. They don't have our non-existent JC as king. Miserable. Take their shit. Saracens, Cretans going after the Saracens on some bullshit. Anyway, yeah, the Meji and miserable people of the Gold Coast, subject to the savage Mambutu, wash 2 or 3 times a day. Check this out. And wash all over. I wonder how many Europeans from the end of the Roman Empire to the accession of Queen Victoria wash themselves all over once a year. I ain't making this shit up. Can you imagine being around motherfuckers that won't even wash once a goddamn year? And if you know anything about Europe's, barbarian conquered Europe's, I guess you would say sewage system or lack thereof, you wouldn't be surprised. Oh, last one, man, for the night anyway. Shit, we got, god damn, we got a ways to go. But anyway, I don't know what happened to the cover of this. It had a nice cover to it. I'll find it one day. But it had a sister, a little long gown on. You can see it got an island backdrop. You know, she got the little fruit basket on her head. But anyway, it's called Ports of the Sun. Big ups to Richmond Bookshop once again. And I'm just now realizing this another autographed book I got. Huh. I don't think they caught that. I got that for a steal for $10, 1937. All right, it's Ports of the Sun, a guide to the Caribbean, Bermuda, Nassau, Havana, and Panama. With illustrations. And the only illustration I remember flipping through is that one. Hold on. Okay, we got a little map in the back. Trying to see if they had some images of some. Oh, I saw the term mulatto as I was flying past that. Negro. Goddamn, seen a whole lot of Negro. Arawak. Okay. Oh, there. This gonna be a. Okay. Damn, I'm trying to see if they had any pictures of some actual people in here. Oh, who was that? I know I saw a picture of somebody just now. Damn, where is it? This is the last book too, man. I know I saw a picture of somebody just now. Oh, here we go right here. What does it say? Henry Christophe. The most powerful king on earth came to America to polish an Englishman's boots. Whoa, motherfucker. I'm gonna show you the image in a second. Hold on, man. Henry Christophe is spelled H-E-N-R-I. Well, I'm about to show it to you. Fuck, you can pause the screen. Brother look like he ain't playing either. The most powerful king on earth came to America to polish the Englishman's boots, and you know exactly what that means. Conquered him and his people, and subjugated him, paraded him around. You can even look back in scripture how they would do our mightiest ones. The mightiest wars we had. They love making the exhibition of them. Now motherfuckers do it willingly for some fake ass fiat money. Well, I wouldn't say they the mightiest warriors. Physically, possibly, maybe. But other than that, they ain't built for what's to come. But yeah, Henry Christoph, the most powerful king on earth, came to America to polish an Englishman's boots. Now check out the image. Just let that shit marinate for a minute. Let me see if I can get the light better on it. Yeah, that's the last book for the night, folks. Thanks for sticking it out for almost slightly over an hour and a half. Fucking enjoy me a cigarette. Fix me something to eat. I'm calling it a night. Till next time. Appreciate you being patient while working out the kinks of this whole thing. What more can I say besides pray steady, stay ready. Shalom.